Hi, this is Chris. I've just come up the Appalachian Trail, about an hour hike in. I just came out of a rainstorm. I'm at Roan Knob, and right behind the camera here is a shelter for the Appalachian Trail hikers. We think it was actually a structure that may have been affiliated with the Cloudland Hotel, which is the real reason I'm here. But I made it, and that's why I'm partially wet, and the storm has kind of moved off to the east. So what I wanted to do is just kind of talk about some of the history of this. In 1885, there's a general from the Union, from the Civil War, a Union general came and built a 166 room hotel. It was called the Cloudland Hotel. And at one time, it was just considered a landmark and a massive structure here. And they marketed it to people. I've got a few things to read about it. I think it's kind of interesting little tidbits. It says, the legendary Cloudland Hotel was built atop Roan Mountain in 1885, garnering its name from the fact that the clouds almost 75% of the time, and that would be today, enshrouded the mountain. Union General John T. Wild, who had moved to Tennessee after his tenure in the Civil War, built the enormous structure as a haven for flatlanders with health issues such as hay fever. The mountain also provided a respite from the relentless heat of the summer months off the mountain, not to mention the chance to enjoy the majestic rhododendron gardens of which the mountain is still famous today, and which actually will begin in just a week or so. The 160-room structure built atop around the imposing three-story lodge became the place of legend. Literature from the era touted the fact that 100 mountaintop peaks could be viewed without leaving the porch to the hotel. And the Cloud was one of the few places in the world which you can actually see your shadow in the fog. The air is full of electricity with its health-giving influence. There are no snakes, no mosquitoes, and none of the little pests that crawl in the night and fly in the noonday, says Charles Dudley Warner while writing about the comfortable accommodations of the Cloudland. He wrote also that it rocked like a ship on a sea when the wind blew. This in part would untimely lead to the Grand Old Hotel's demise. One of the more humorous legends of the hotel, besides the fact that there was just one bathroom for the entire suite, was the white line drawn down the middle of the dining room floor. The building sat on the North Carolina-Tennessee state line. Alcohol was legally served on the Tennessee side, but not on North Carolina. If you were caught indulging in Mitchell County, it was said that the sheriff would be there waiting for you. A little humor there. Maintenance on the massive structure on the harsh, high elevation North Tennessee mountaintop became too much of a strain, and the hotel was abandoned in 1910. Wind, snow, and rain quickly took their toll, and by 1915, the hotel was falling to the ground. Today, little remains of the hotel other than a Forest Service marker providing information about the hotel's glorious heyday. So we're basically on the eastern parts of the hotel grounds. There's a large meadow off to the west here, and I'm going to pan the camera over here. There's some concrete foundations here that we believe were part of the original water source, the water tower, which may have then been turned into a fire tower 80 years ago or something like that. But I try to incorporate a little bit of adventure into these videos I'm doing, trying to plant that little seed for those people sitting at home and in different places in the United States or Italy or North America that, there's some really different things to do here into the Carolina and Tennessee mountains. So bringing that, I want to tell a little story about the Appalachian Trail. And incidentally, as I came in here, there's actually two guys in the Appalachian Trail. They came in last night. They're going to shelter in for today, and then they'll go on. There's a bunch more that have passed, and then a couple was in here for the weekend. But there's a woman by the name of Grandma Gatewood. She was born in the late 1800s and married in the 1950s, something like that, into a really abusive relationship. I think had 9 children, and was severely beaten to the point where she had to leave her home. Kids may have left the home for periods of time. And for her therapy, she would go out and hike. And finally, when her last kids left the house there may be some time gap in this, she went off hiking, and she hiked the Appalachian Trail in 1957. She was 70. Let me get this straight. She was 67 years old, and she hiked the Appalachian Trail. That was her first time. She went on to do it 2 more times. Her last time when she was 76 years old. The first person to do it was back in 1952. She did it in 1957. I can guarantee that the trail was not as well preserved or marked as it is today. So just foraging through and figuring out how to turn and so forth. And I've read the book before. It's just just testimony. Here we have a general coming up and building a really massive hotel, 130 years ago. And then we've got this woman that just persists. She does it 3 times. She had broken glass. She didn't have modern day hiking boots. She didn't have a sleeping bag. She would go on and hope that strangers would let her sleep. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. She knew how to forage for different fruits and things like that. Just good in testimony to that American, fortitude. She would go on to actually hike the Pacific Trail from Missouri. I believe she did that twice. So just really kind of an interesting story. And where I'm kind of bringing that to is people kind of get together and think about where they're going, the vast different things that can be done here in the North Carolina, Tennessee region. If you're sitting at home in a different state and thinking about wanting to live someplace where you can be outdoor all the time, now after this rain has come through, it's about 60 degrees. It's not too bad, but I need to put on my jacket in a couple of minutes. It'll go back up to 68 or something in a little while. But it really it's just a wonderful place to come to. So if you're thinking about some different ideas, and if my videos pique you're interested at all, again, I'm just trying to plant that seed of different place to go where you can live. There's some different options. I'm going to mention real quickly my history. I moved up here a year and a half ago. I was in real estate the last 20 years, and I started working for the post office a year and a half ago part-time, and then I also drive a bus 1 day a week for the university in town in Boone. And I just passed a guy on the trail here, 80 years old. He retired from the post office 8 years ago, and really looked in relatively decent shape. He did 1,400 miles of the trail last year from Maine down here, and now he's finishing up. He came down, he's doing the 750 miles he didn't do, and just testimony what people kind of want to do. What I did in terms of moving up here, I had to supplement my income. I got my broker's license this past year. This is my 20th year in real estate. And if you liked any of what I've said and would like to connect with me or something in the future, or just enjoy my videos, I'm at 954-290-5467, or the information below. Hope you've enjoyed this, and you guys have a great day. I'm going to show you this concrete foundation in just a second here. And if you can see here, you can see the foundation of the water tower. Now, this may have been for its fire tower as well. We're not sure. And then you can see the shelter through the woods down there. And there's 2 guys in there now. Boy, was I lucky to find it. So really happy. And again, just very peaceful area up here. When it's not raining, these pine needles just create a soft carpet. So really great location. Hope you enjoyed it.